She moved through the broken streets with slow steps, her claws brushing the dust that covered everything. Kayla did not remember how long she had been walking. Time felt strange after the attack. The sky above her was still dark with smoke, and the wind carried the smell of burned homes. She tried not to look at the fallen stones, but every corner showed a memory she did not want to face. Kayla had once lived here with her family. Her mother used to place small light crystals on the window every night. Her father would sit by the fire and tell her stories about old dragon warriors. Her little brother loved to chase glow moths around the courtyard. Now all that was gone. The courtyard was only a hole in the ground. The window was a cracked wall. The light crystals were buried under dust. She stopped near what had once been her home. Her body felt heavy, as if something pressed down on her chest. She touched the broken stones and closed her eyes. For a moment, she imagined her mother's voice calling her inside. But when she opened her eyes, she saw only silence. She took a deep breath and kept walking. She knew staying there would break her completely. She needed to find food, water, shelter, anything. Her scales were dirty, her wings weak. She had not eaten in 2 days. But she forced herself to move, one slow step at a time. The world around her was not safe. Strange machines still crawled in some parts of the valley. They had attacked without warning, cold metal things with red lights for eyes. She had run with other survivors, but they were gone now, maybe captured, maybe worse. She tried not to think about it. Thinking only made her stomach twist in fear. Kayla reached an old tower at the edge of the ruins. Half of it had fallen, but the lower part was still standing. She slipped inside. The air was cooler there, and the noise of the wind was softer. She sat down, hugging her knees to her chest. She could finally rest a little, but she was not alone. A soft sound echoed from deeper inside the tower. Not metal, not a machine. Something alive. Kayla froze. Her heart beat fast. She listened carefully, waiting to hear it again. The sound came once more, a soft cough. She stood slowly, ready to run if she had to. She moved deeper into the shadows until she saw him. A human. He sat against the wall, holding his arm as if it hurt. His clothes were torn and dusty. There were marks on his face like he had been hit by debris. His eyes were tired but alert. When he noticed Kayla, he tried to stand, but his legs shook, and he stayed leaning against the wall. Kayla's first thought was to run. She had seen humans before. They went to the upper cities, traded metals, explored the mountains. But she had never seen one alone, in a place like this. She did not know if he was dangerous. He raised his hand slowly, showing he meant no harm. "I won't hurt you," he said, his voice soft but rough from dust. Kayla stared at him, unsure. She did not speak human language well, but she understood enough to know he was not shouting, not commanding, not trying to scare her. She took one careful step forward. The human watched her with tired eyes. "Did you lose someone?" he asked. Kayla felt her throat tighten. She looked away. She did not want to answer, but something in his voice felt kind, gentle in a way she had not heard since everything changed. He sighed and leaned back against the wall. "Me too," he whispered. His fingers tapped the ground beside him, almost like he was trying to stay awake. Kayla studied him for a long moment. He looked weak, pale, injured. If she left him, he might not survive, but helping him might bring danger. The machine still hunted anything alive, dragon or human. She stepped closer, slow and careful. When she reached him, she crouched down so she was not taller than him. His eyes widened a little. Maybe he had never seen someone from her kind this close. He did not move. She pointed at his arm, the one he held tightly. "Hurt?" she asked in simple human words. He nodded. "Yeah, I think it's broken, or close to broken." Kayla looked around the tower, searching for anything useful. She found a broken piece of wood and a strip of cloth under some fallen stones. She carried them to him. He watched her quietly, surprised. When she tried to wrap his arm, he flinched at first, but then relaxed. "Thank you," he murmured. She did not understand all the human words he used, but she knew that one. She nodded once. For the first time since her home fell, Kayla felt a small spark inside her, a warm feeling she thought she had lost forever. She was not alone. Someone else had survived. Someone who did not fear her, did not shout at her, did not treat her like a threat. The wind outside howled to the tower's broken walls, but inside there was a small, calm space. 2 survivors, sitting together in the ruins. Kayla curled her tail around herself and sat beside him. She did not know what would happen next. She did not know if the machines would return, or she could find food, or she could ever rebuild her life. But she knew one thing clearly. She did not walk alone anymore. Kayla woke before the sun rose. The tower was cold, and the wind outside made a low, sad sound. She blinked slowly, remembering where she was. The ruins, the broken world, the human sitting a few steps away from her. He was still asleep, leaning against the wall with his injured arm resting in the cloth she had tied. His breathing was slow and soft. For a moment, she simply watched him. Humans looked so fragile. No scales, no claws, no wings. Yet there he was, surviving the same disaster she had barely escaped. When he opened his eyes, he looked confused at first, as if he forgot where he was. Then he saw Kayla and gave a small, tired smile. "You stayed," he said quietly. Kayla nodded. She still did not know why she had stayed. Maybe because she felt safer with someone nearby. Maybe because he was injured. Maybe because she did not want to be completely alone anymore. The human shifted and winced in pain. "My name is Adrian," he said, pointing at himself with his good hand. She repeated softly, "Adria and—" He smiled a little brighter. "Yes, Adrian." Kayla tapped her chest gently. "Kayla." He nodded with respect. "Nice to meet you, Kayla." They sat in silence for a moment. The world outside the tower was quiet. Too quiet. Kayla knew silence in ruined places meant danger. Machines never slept. She listened for the sound of metal claws scraping stone, but nothing came. Adrian looked at her carefully. "You saved me yesterday," he said. "You didn't have to, but you did." Kayla lowered her eyes. She did not want thanks. She just wanted a little hope, something small to hold on to. Adrian continued, "I will repay you, I promise." Kayla looked up again, confused. "Promise?" "Yes." He nodded slowly. "A human's promise. I don't break promises." His voice was gentle and steady. "I will help you survive. I will help you find safety. I won't leave you alone." Kayla stared at him. No one had spoken to her like that since before the attack. Her people never promised lightly. A promise was sacred. She wondered if it was the same for humans. He tried to stand but wobbled. Kayla quickly moved beside him and helped steady him. Even with her small strength, much less than a full dragon adult, she was stronger than him. Adrian gave a grateful breath. "We need supplies," he said. "Water, food, maybe a better hiding place. The machines might come back." Kayla's wings twitched nervously. She hated the machines. They were cold and merciless. They had taken everything from her. Adrian saw the fear in her eyes. "Hey," he said softly, "I know you're scared. I'm scared too. But we can do this together." Together. That word warmed her like a small fire in a dark room. They left the tower carefully, moving through the broken stone and dust. Adrian used a piece of rubble as a walking stick. Kayla walked slightly ahead, sniffing the air and listening for danger. Her senses were sharper than his. They reached an old water station, half covered in vines and broken metal. Kayla pushed aside some debris to find the pipe still dripping. She cupped her claws to catch water for Adrian first. He stared at her with surprise. "You're giving it to me first?" Kayla nodded. It was normal in her culture to give the weak or injured the first share. Adrian's eyes softened. "You're kinder than most humans I know," he whispered before drinking. Kayla did not know what to say, so she just waited until he finished and then drank herself. After that, they walked deeper into ruins. Adrian pointed to a fallen transport ship nearby. "There might be supplies inside," he said. But as they approached, Kayla suddenly stopped. Her tail stiffened. Her ears lowered. She sensed something. A faint clicking. Metal claws. Her heart raced. Adrian froze when he saw her fear. "What is it?" he whispered. Kayla pointed toward the broken ship. "Machine." Adrian's face tightened. He grabbed her arm gently and pulled her behind a large stone. They crouched there together, holding their breath. The machine crawled out from behind the transport ship, spider-like, with sharp legs and one glowing red eye in the center. It scanned the area, red light sweeping over the stones. Kayla trembled. Adrian placed his good hand on her shoulder, steady but calm. "It hasn't seen us," he whispered. "Stay quiet." They stayed hidden until Machine turned away and began crawling in another direction. When it was far enough, Adrian slowly exhaled. "That was close," he said. "Thank you for warning me." Kayla nodded shakily. Her body was still tense. Adrian gave her a soft smile. "We will be okay. I promised you." She looked at him again. Humans were strange. He was injured, weak, and tired. Yet he still tried to protect her. Still tried to keep his promise. They searched the ship once the machine was gone. Inside, they found a small bag with sealed food packets. Adrian handed most of them to Kayla. She shook her head. "You need." He shook his head too. "You need more. You're younger, and you kept me alive." Kayla felt something inside her shift. No one had ever cared for her like this outside her family. As they walked back toward the tower, Adrian stumbled. Kayla caught him before he fell. "I'm fine," he whispered, embarrassed. Kayla shook her head. "No. Hurt." Adrian laughed softly. "You sound like my old squad medic." Then he became serious again. "Kayla, when I said I would help you, I meant it. I won't leave you behind. Not ever." Kayla felt the weight of those words. A human's promise given to her, a young dragon girl who had nothing left. The sun started to set, painting the ruins in orange light. They returned to the tower and sat inside again, sharing food and quiet thoughts. Kayla listened to Adrian breathe beside her. For the first time in many days, she did not feel hopeless. She did not know what tomorrow would bring, but she knew Adrian would face it with her, and his promise made the broken world feel a little less dark. Kayla woke in the middle of the night to a sound she did not recognize. It was soft, almost like metal shaking far away. She raised her head and looked around the dark tower room. Adrian was sleeping near the wall, breathing slowly. She did not want to wake him, so she stood up quietly and walked to the broken window. Outside, the ruins looked different at night. Shadows stretched like long fingers across the ground. The wind carried strange smells, dust, old machines, and something else. Something familiar but faint. She listened carefully. There was again a distant echo, like metal claws scraping stone. Her chest tightened. She felt something she did not understand. It was not fear. It was something deeper. A memory, maybe, or a warning. She walked back to Adrian and gently shook his shoulder. He woke with a small groan and looked up. "What's wrong?" he whispered. Kayla pointed to the window. "Noise. Machine." Adrian's tired eyes sharpened immediately. He got up slowly and looked outside. The night was quiet, but he trusted Kayla's senses more than his own. "How far?" he asked. Kayla shook her head. "Not close, but feels strange." Adrian frowned. "Strange how?" Kayla opened her mouth, then closed it. She did not have the words. All she knew was that something out there knew she was alive, and it was coming. Adrian placed a hand on her shoulder. "Thank you for waking me." His voice was soft but serious. "Let's stay alert tonight." They did not sleep again. They sat near the window, listening to the wind. Adrian watched the ground, but Kayla listened to the air. Her ears twitched every time the faint metal sound repeated. Just before dawn, the noises finally faded, but Kayla did not relax. Her heart felt heavy, like she was carrying a secret she could not see. Adrian noticed. "Kayla," he said quietly, "you've been uneasy all night. Is something bothering you?" She looked down at her claws. She did not know how to say it. She had tried to ignore the strange feeling since she met Adrian, but now she could not hide it anymore. "My people," she said slowly, "we feel things, not with eyes or ears, with heart." Adrian nodded gently. "Instinct." Kayla tilted her head. Instinct. It means a feeling inside you, something you know without being told. Kayla nodded. Yes, instinct. She took a slow breath. Something searches for me. Adrian's face tensed. A machine? Kayla shook her head. Not machine. Something else. Something alive. Adrian sat back, surprised. Alive? Out here? After what happened to your city? Kayla hugged her wings around herself. She had run from her home, from the fire and the metal monsters. She thought she was alone. She wanted to believe she was alone, because the truth hurt too much. But now her instincts whispered the truth. I think someone survived, she said softly. Adrian blinked. One of your people? Kayla nodded slowly. Maybe, or maybe something worse. Adrian leaned forward. Tell me? Kayla hesitated. The memory was painful, but Adrian had shared his fears and his past with her. She trusted him now. In my city, she began, there was a special dragon, not like others. A shadow dragon, born with strange power, dark power. She paused. My father said they were rare and dangerous. Even other dragons feared them. Adrian listened carefully. And you think this shadow dragon survived? Kayla nodded. Yes, I feel its presence. It feels like cold wind touching my heart. Adrian looked outside again, his eyes scanning the dark ground. If something like that is out here, we need be careful. Kayla pressed her claws together. It might be looking for me. Adrian turned sharply. Why you? Kayla's voice became quiet. Because I am the last light dragon left. Adrian stared at her. Light dragon? Like opposite of shadow dragon. Kayla nodded. Light dragons and shadow dragons. They are tied. When one grows strong, the other grows stronger too. My father said it is balance, but balance can turn into danger. Adrian rubbed his forehead, trying to understand. So the shadow dragon needs you? Kayla shook her head. It wants me. It wants my power. Light dragons can calm shadows, or destroy them. Adrian's eyes widened. Wait, you can destroy it? Kayla lowered her head. No, I am too young, too weak. But the shadow dragon may want to control me instead. Her voice trembled. If it finds me, it will not let me go. Adrian's jaw clenched. He stood up, ignoring his injured arm. Then I won't let it find you. Kayla looked at him, feeling warmth in her chest. Adrian, shadow dragons are dangerous. So am I, he said calmly. Kayla blinked in surprise. You. Adrian nodded. I survived battles I should not have survived. I walked through fire and metal storms. I'm not strong like a dragon, but I don't give up, not when someone needs me. Kayla felt something shift inside her. She stared at Adrian, wondering how someone so small could be so brave. Adrian took a deep breath. If the shadow dragon is coming, we need to prepare. We need a plan. Kayla nodded slowly. Yes, but we must move soon. It is getting closer. Adrian picked up his broken weapon and checked it, even though it barely worked. Then we'll move before it finds us. Kayla stepped closer, her voice soft. Adrian, why you help me so much? He looked at her with steady eyes. Because you helped me first. And because no one should face the darkness alone. Kayla felt tears burn her eyes, but she blinked them away. For the first time, she spoke the truth she had been afraid of. I am scared, she whispered. Adrian smiled sadly. Me too. Outside, the shadows stretched longer as the wind shifted. And far in the distance, something ancient and powerful opened its eyes. Adrian and Kayla left the ruined tower before sunrise. The sky was still dark, and the cold air made Adrian's breath come out in white clouds. Kayla walked beside him in silence, her wings folded tight around her body. She kept looking toward the mountains in the distance, as if something there was calling to her. Adrian noticed. Is it closer now? Kayla nodded slowly. Yes, the shadow dragon is awake. Adrian did not like the sound of that. How big is it? Kayla shook her head. I do not know. I only feel its power. It is like heavy air, like a storm. Adrian gripped the strap of his pack. Then we stay ahead of it. But they did not stay ahead for long. By the time the sun rose, the sky looked wrong. Dark clouds formed shapes that did not move like normal clouds. They twisted and curled, almost like giant wings. Kayla stopped walking. "It sees us," she whispered. Adrian looked up. His throat tightened. Something huge moved inside the clouds. Something black, like smoke with mind of its own. Then the ground shook. A deep roar rolled across the desert. It was not loud in the ears. It was loud in the bones. Adrian felt it in his chest. Kayla's claws dug into sand. "It is coming," she said. A moment later, the dark shape dove from the sky. Adrian grabbed Kayla's arm. "Run." They ran across the open desert, but they were too slow. The shadow dragon slammed into the ground behind them, sending sand flying everywhere. Adrian fell forward and rolled. Kayla jumped in front of him, shielding him with her wings. When the sand settled, Adrian saw it for the first time. The shadow dragon was huge, bigger than any creature he had ever seen. Its body was made of dark scales that looked like shifting smoke. Its eyes glowed red, bright and cold. When it breathed, the air around it shivered. Kayla stepped closer, shaking. "I know you," she whispered. The shadow dragon leaned forward. Its voice was deep and smooth, like a whisper from a cave. "Little light dragon," it said, "I felt you survive. I followed your spark." Adrian stood up quickly, even though his legs felt weak. "Stay back," he shouted. The dragon turned his head toward him, confused. "A human? Why do you protect her?" Adrian clenched his fists. "Because she's not alone." The shadow dragon laughed. The sound made the air colder. "Humans are small, weak. You cannot fight me." Adrian stepped forward anyway. "Maybe, but I can try." Kayla grabbed his arm. "Adrian, no," she whispered. "You cannot win." Adrian looked at her. "Maybe not, but we stand together." Kayla stared at him, her eyes wide with fear and something else. Hope. The shadow dragon lowered its head again. "Kayla," it said, using her name for the first time. "Come with me. You are light. I am shadow. Together we are balance." Kayla shook her head. "No, balance does not mean control." The dragon's red eyes narrowed. "You refuse? You will regret that." Dark smoke rose from its body, swirling around them like a storm. Adrian held Kayla's hand tighter. Then Kayla stepped forward. "Stop," she said. The shadow dragon paused. She lifted her hands slowly. A faint glow formed around her fingers. It was soft, warm, like the first rays of morning. Adrian stared. He had never seen her glow before. "I am light," Kayla said, her voice steady. "And light does not fear the dark." The shadow dragon hissed. "You are too young, too weak. Your light is small." Kayla took a deep breath. "Maybe, but it is mine." The glow around her grew brighter. The sand lit up around her feet. The shadow dragon stepped back, its smoke-like body pulling away from the light. Adrian felt heat on his skin. "Kayla, what are you doing?" She shook her head. "I don't know, but it feels right." The shadow dragon roared and lunged forward. Adrian reached for Kayla, but she moved faster than he had ever seen. She spread her wings. Light burst from them like a wave. The blast hit the shadow dragon full in the chest. The monster staggered back, roaring in pain. Its smoky body shook. For the first time, it looked unsure. It growled, "You should not have this power." Kayla lowered her wings. Her breath was shaking, and her legs trembled. "I don't want to fight," she said softly. "I just want peace." The shadow dragon stared at her. Its red eyes flickered. The anger faded a little, replaced by something like confusion. "Why save the human?" it asked. "He is nothing to our kind." Kayla looked at Adrian. "He saved me first." Adrian's chest tightened. The shadow dragon looked between them. Light chooses strange allies. Its voice became softer, but still dark. "This human, he gives you strength." Kayla nodded. "Yes." The shadow dragon lifted its wings. The smoke around it began to rise again. "Then this is not over. Your light is growing. When it is full, I will return." Kayla stepped back, tired. I know. The shadow dragon rose into the sky, turning into a dark cloud, then into nothing. The air grew warm again. The sand settled. Adrian rushed to Kayla and caught her as her knees weakened. Kayla, are you okay? She leaned against him, breathing hard. I used too much light. I did not know I could do that. Adrian looked at her with awe. You saved us. She shook her head. No, we saved each other. Adrian held her close, feeling her trembling slowly calm. The danger had passed, but something had changed between them. The shadow dragon had seen their bond, and now the entire world would feel the consequences. Kayla woke late in the day, long after the fight with the shadow dragon. The sky above her was clear again, bright blue and calm. She opened her eyes slowly and found Adrian sitting beside her, watching the horizon. He looked worried, but when she moved, his face softened. You're awake, he said quietly. Kayla tried to sit up, but her body felt weak. Her wings were heavy and her hands shook. Adrian helped her gently, careful not to hurt her. How long? She asked. Half the day, Adrian replied. You were exhausted. I didn't want to move until you woke up. Kayla looked down at her hands. She remembered the bright light, the heat, and the strength that had risen inside her. It had felt natural, but also frightening. She had never used such power before. I thought I lost everything, she whispered. My home, my family, my future. Her voice cracked. I never thought I would find anything again. Adrian gave her a small smile. You didn't lose everything. Not anymore. Kayla looked at him. His words were simple, but they reached deep inside her. He spoke them without fear, without hesitation. No one had spoken to her like that since her world fell apart. The wind blew softly across the desert, carrying warm sand that sparkled in the sunlight. Kayla's wings unfolded a little as the warmth touched them. She looked stronger than she felt. We cannot stay here, she said. The shadow dragon will return, and others may come. Adrian nodded. Then we find somewhere safe. Kayla lowered her eyes. There is no safe place for someone like me. There is, Adrian said. His voice was calm and steady. Where I am. Kayla's breath caught. The words felt like a promise, like a door she had never seen before suddenly opening. They walked together across the desert, moving slowly at first because Kayla was still weak. Adrian stayed close, watching her carefully in case she stumbled. For a long time, neither of them spoke. As they walked, Kayla's eyes softened. She looked around at the world she thought she had lost. The broken tower behind them, the endless sand, the open sky. None of it felt empty anymore. What will happen when the dragons learn I survived? She asked quietly. Adrian looked ahead. Some will fear you. Some will want you. Some will see you as a threat. Kayla nodded. And the shadow dragon, he said he will return. That just means we'll be ready when he does. Kayla asked softly. Adrian stopped walking and turned to her. Yes, we. She stared at him for a long moment. Her heart felt tight, like it was waking up after a long sleep. She was not used to someone standing beside her without wanting something. She was not used to someone choosing her. They reached a rocky ridge just before evening. Adrian climbed first and helped Kayla follow. From the top, they could see the world stretching far into the distance, mountains, valleys, and faint signs of villages. Kayla's eyes widened. So much is still out there. Adrian nodded. And you get to decide what your future looks like. Not the shadow dragon. Not the ones who destroyed your home. You. Kayla lowered her wings. I don't know what future I want. That's fine, Adrian said. We can find it step by step. Kayla looked at him again, slowly, carefully, as if she was seeing him for the first time in full light. He stood tall but gentle, someone who had lost things too, but still chose kindness. You helped me when I had nothing, she whispered. Why? Adrian thought for a moment. Because no one deserves to face darkness alone. Kayla felt something warm fill her chest. It was not the light she used against the shadow dragon. It was something else, softer, but stronger in its own way. As the sun set, painting the land in gold, they built a small fire. Kayla sat close to the flames, her wings wrapped around her like a cloak. Adrian sat beside her, quiet but present. After a while, Kayla spoke. I want to rebuild. Maybe not a home like before, but something new. Adrian nodded. You can, and you won't have to do it alone. Kayla looked into the fire. She saw a reflection in the flames, tired, hurt, but still alive, still burning. She took a deep breath. Adrian, you think someone like me can have a future? A real one? He looked at her without hesitation. Yes, you can have a future brighter than you imagine. Kayla felt her throat tighten. And will you be part of it? Adrian did not look away. If you want me to. Kayla turned her face toward the fire again. She was quiet for a long moment, but a small, gentle smile formed on her lips. I do. The wind moved softly around them, warm and peaceful. The world was still dangerous. The shadow dragon would return. The truth of her past would still hunt her. But for the first time since she lost everything, Kayla felt hope. A future she thought she lost was now in reach. And she would face it not alone, but with someone who chose to stay.